Hi, this is Stephen Haylestrom, and this is Let's Talk Housing, coming to you on 92.7 FM in Peterborough, Ontario. Also, this comes as a podcast and is available on Apple and Spotify, etc., whatever your favorite podcast thing might be. And today, as you know, or maybe you don't, but last week, uh, I was committing to making sure to try to bring to you now some interviews specifically with people that are dealing with this challenge. And today, just to reiterate again, you know, today in Canada and really in North America, being underhoused, being homeless, housing being unaffordable, housing being difficult to get uh, is a challenge for so many people, young, old, in between. It's a challenge. Money, money makes the world go round. Simple as that. But as I indicated in one of the previous one of these previous broadcasts, is that in the 5 years, 2015 to 2020, um, housing costs in Canada rose 60%. And they continue to rise only until the last few months. And this is now January of 2024. And only in the last few months have prices began to stabilize at a high level. But during that period, 2015 to 2020, statistically, price of housing went up 60% compared to the compared to wages. The average Canadian wage, the average Canadian wage only went up 6%. So the cost of housing 10 times more than the cost of, or than what people were able to earn. So a dramatic, a tenfold difference between the two. So that now in January 2024, housing for so many people is simply unattainable. It's not that homelessness is not all about some addiction problem or whatever. Some people who are bad people somehow or another are. That's not what homelessness is about. Never has been, and now even more. That stereotype is ridiculous. Simple as that. It's unaffordable to buy a new home. I was driving through Peterborough the other day, and I saw this house that was for sale. It was kind of a corner house, older, not a century home, but probably built in the 40s. A nice backyard, and it had a for sale sign. So I looked up my app, the Realty app on my phone, looked it up. $949,000 for the house. So basically $1 million. So it take 20% deposit on that initial deposit, $200,000, plus then the cost of moving, the GST, all of the other expenses, another $50,000. So just to buy an average little house in an average little neighborhood in the city of Peterborough, going to cost you out of pocket, from your pocket, about $250,000. So the average annual wage before tax in Canada is less than $60,000. So it would take you saving 100% of your income about 10 years just to put that money away, to have that deposit. Then, on top of that, you're left with almost an $800,000 mortgage. $750,000 mortgage, which would cost you on a monthly basis at today's rate somewhere around $3,400 every month. $3,400. So, where do you come with that? Where do you get that money? $3,400 a month. Simple math on that tells you that 3,400, and this is after taxes. So that $3,400 times 12 months is $40,080 after tax just for the mortgage. Add to that your taxes, and because the taxes are based on the cost of the selling price or the sold price of the house, the municipal taxes have been going up and up. And so your taxes for that house are around $500 a month. So you add to that 40,000 plus another that would be 500 times 12 equals 6,000. So you've got $46,000 in cash. That doesn't include electric bill, water bill, garbage, etc., etc. So you're going to be in for $50,000 in after-tax income just to have your average house in your average neighborhood, whatever. And the average person only makes, before tax, $60,000. So after tax, that leaves you about, maybe if you're fortunate, somewhere in the $45,000 range. So you don't even have enough money to pay for your house if you're on your own. If you get 2 people, maybe, 3 people, maybe, then you can pay for food and everything else. It's difficult. You've heard me all say that. I don't want to rant and rant again on and on about it. That's what this show is all about. There are solutions out there. There's new things coming. There are things that are happening. I had a great conversation even this morning with someone who is talking about conferences for municipalities to help them to speed up the process of getting new housing. We need millions of new housing units built in Canada in the next 5 years to accommodate just the regular people, to be able to bring the price of housing down to a reasonable thing, and then to also to accommodate new immigrants to Canada and people who are going to school here, right? Educational people who are here to study in Canada from other countries. All of these demographics need housing. It's millions of homes. And as you've heard me say many times, in Canada, the regular construction industry just can't keep up. So, okay, I will stop my rant for today, and I'm going to introduce you. I have an interview today. I was introduced to, and my wife and I were introduced to a young lady, young woman who is underhoused, and she is in our own community here. And I will let her tell you her situation and how she's existing, and she's a bright young person who wants to be successful and wants everything that everybody wants out of life, and is struggling because of the sheer cost and unavailability of housing for her situation. So here she is. This is Kiana, and I will let her. We'll give you a little introduction, and then you'll hear from her directly, and then I'll talk again afterwards. Thank you.
I am speaking with Kiana, and Kiana is currently working through some housing issues, and I thought that it was a good opportunity. She's agreed to talk with me and tell me a little bit first about herself, and then we're going to have some questions and answers, I hope, and we'll just talk about the whole housing situation and her lived experience, etc. So, Kiana, how are you today? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Stephen. Thank you for asking. I'm Thank you for having me. Um, my name's Kiana. I'm 25. I have two cats. I'm currently living in a trailer and trying to situate a housing, more stable housing for myself.
Yeah, and so you're living in a trailer now, and so tell maybe people might be interested a little bit in if you're willing to share. And please, if you don't feel comfortable with something, just say so. We don't need to talk about anything in particular. But I'm just wondering if what you can do is just tell us. So how like you're 25. Did you just have trouble finding a place to live, or a lot of people are always they're always curious about like the whole kind of thing around when people are underhoused is a lot of people just kind of look like, oh, you just should be out there, and it's easy to get a place, that sort of thing. So I just would be wondering for you, how did it work out?
It hasn't been easy finding a place, especially when you have animals. A lot of people don't want to rent rooms to you if you have animals. So it's been a difficult time trying to find a room or just housing in general. And they want good credit scores and, references and first and last. And there's just a lot of things that people struggle with, and I struggle with.
Right. Yeah. And it's hard starting out to, find all of those things and meet all of those requirements. And
Yes.
what about, so right now you're on your own in a trailer. Have you ever thought
Yes.
about having like a shared accommodation, or is that something that you really don't like?
Oh, I've had a shared accommodation before, and it worked out. I just, I don't know. I left for my own reasons, and I don't know. I guess it's an option for me in the future, or potentially.
Yeah, and do you like lots of people I talk to? Their preference, let's say, is to have like their own space, right? Like a shared accommodation, can be whatever. It's shared accommodation, right? Like you're always kind of compensating for everybody else or for other
Yes.
people all the time. And was that a challenge for you, or
there was difficulties, I guess, for myself renting rooms. Just being getting used to like the house rules of like what they do and their preferences in the house, and just I don't know, I found it became difficult having a lot of roommates for me. I've rented a place before that had like 6 different bedrooms, and they were all rented out, so it was very busy. So I don't know, I've struggled, I guess, there.
Well, yeah, having 6 roommates that I would imagine change all the time, and
Yeah,
like that
and
sort of
they
thing.
get kicked out, or they leave, and they're always switching up, so it's never a consistent pattern of people.
Right, and yeah, no, I understand that. Oh, I hear your cats in the background there. There you go.
Yeah.
Hello, cat. And yeah, I think, and I've even in my life, I've had shared accommodation, and I find that it's challenging. And, even when it comes around to the washroom and the shower and the schedule and all the rest of it,
Yes.
I think it's just nice to be able to have your own,
your own
kind of,
space.
yeah, control over your own things,
Yeah.
I certainly agree with that. That's why, like, I know that, and I don't know if you've read about it, but like in Peterborough recently, they have like these little cabins, and it's for people who are homeless, and they built cabins for them, but then they have shared washrooms and a shared kitchen or something.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. But so you get kind of your own space for a bedroom, but you have to then go out if you want to get a shower. You're sharing it with somebody else. I like the idea of, like the whole trailer idea. Like, how did you come across that? Like, I think it's kind of a neat idea. Maybe you could tell everybody or tell people how that happened and how it's working out for you.
I came across it. It was on Marketplace, and it was in Huntsville. And it was quite a journey back, but it managed on the road, and it's difficult living in the trailer for sure, especially in the winter months. You don't have running water, and just, me having my own space, keeping up on the cleaning, and I have some mental health issues myself, so I struggle with other things along with the housing, and I don't know, the washroom is definitely a big thing in the trailer that you have difficulties with, and getting your sewage dumped and stuff. So there's a lot of struggles with things in the trailer for sure. Making sure you don't have gas leaks or leaks in your pipes or anything.
Yeah, because I guess trailers themselves are sort of constructed to be like summer housing as opposed to winter housing. And,
yes.
And so it becomes a challenge. Now, you mentioned that you have some issues that you're working through, and do you find that housing, if people have an issue, whatever it is, that then finding housing becomes even more difficult? Like it
does, because if you have anxiety, you have anxiety to message somebody, to try to look for the housing, to even view that place, to talk with the people. It's hard. So if you have that type of disorder, it's a struggle there. If you have if you have traumas, for example, you could struggle with having a roommate because of certain traumas you've had. You could struggle, I'm just saying, like, different disorders, don't necessarily have all these ones, but just like some people have OCD, so they want everything to be particular and exact, right? So there's lots of different disorders that people struggle with, not just myself, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, and you're a young person, so you might not be aware, but it used to be in Ontario that there was quite an infrastructure to assist and to provide for people who were struggling with different disorders. And then one of the governments, not that many years ago, but say 30 years ago or something, one of the governments decided, well, we don't want to spend money on that anymore. And they kind of closed the doors on all of these assistance, like all of these government-funded assistance programs and buildings and housing and that sort of thing, and they kind of closed the door on it. And so now, and then everybody ended up out on the street, and it's one of the reasons why we ended up with such a big homeless problem. But
yes,
for
it's
you,
insane
then,
how many homeless.
Yeah, it's like it's really kind of crazy, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
So for you, how do you who ends up, like, the government, say, okay, they sometimes will provide money, like through some programs, but how do you find getting assistance? Is it government stuff helping you, or churches?
It's government helping
Yeah.
me, and I also have the churches helping me locally. They're very helpful. I have CMHA workers helping me with my mental health factors. Lots of supports and such, so that is helping me with my housing situation right now.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess that's one of the reasons why you want to kind of stay in the same area too, because,
Yes.
yeah, you've got your supports
Mhm.
worked out, and if you were to go to a different area, um, yeah, so that's great. Now, you mentioned also the the trauma issues and the effect. Have you got so you've got your own housing issue? Have you met
Mhm.
any other people? Have you met any other people with housing issues as well? Because I know that for you, you're
I
kind of living on your own, right?
yes, I
And
have
a
met.
little bit
I have.
isolated. But
I have
sorry, you go
met
ahead.
uh quite a few people who struggle to try to get rooms or housing in general, who may also be in trailers as well, or bunkies or other situations that aren't actually a house. Um, so I've come across people who do struggle, and a lot of people on the streets too that you see. Like I said, there's a lot of homeless people on the streets that you see when just driving by or whatever.
Yeah, and what has been your interaction like? Tell me a little bit about what you think as a person who is kind of like, you're not homeless, I know, but you're kind of
Yeah.
underhoused, let's call it, right?
Yes.
You're Yeah, and so tell me what you think. Like, what do you think is happening here that this has become such a bigger challenge now, a bigger
The
problem than it has
prices
been
the
before?
prices of rent are just like astronomical. Food prices have gone up, so you have to provide your food, and it's gone up just dramatically. Um, so people are renting rooms in small spaces for such high prices because of just the way that it is nowadays.
Right. So it takes, and if you're on a fixed income, like
If you're on a
you're
fixed
on,
income, it makes it really, really hard to survive each month when you work with a month-to-month basis of a check.
right, yeah, and those checks, like, what is it called? I can't even remember. It's Ontario ODSP, I think.
ODSP or
Yeah,
Ontario Works. There's two different
right,
ones. Yeah,
right, and on those you have a set amount, and they
a
have
set
not
amount
the
you get
amount,
each month.
right, and they haven't increased much over the last few years for sure,
Not
and
much.
but
They
yet,
try to increase it little portions, but it's a joke, to be honest. It's not helping people with the amounts they're increasing.
yeah, like if you get a 2% increase in your
Hmm.
monthly thing and your rent goes up 20%, then
Yeah,
it
it's
doesn't
not really
really do
helping
much.
much.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So with your housing, what would be, first off, like, what would be the best situation, do you think? Like, if you could, snap your fingers and it would be an ideal situation for you personally, what would you really like to be able to see or
I would
have?
love and always have dreamed of having a little tiny home, but just the money factor and actually being able to have that and do that and have a place where you know you're going to be settled and able to stay in that home for a long time. Um just yeah, I've had a partner in the past, and we always dreamed of having a tiny home.
And so what does a tiny home mean to you? Like, what would be, how big would it be, and how, like,
I don't
what does
really,
that mean?
not good with measurements, but I don't know, like where it'd have a bedroom, it'd have a little kitchen and maybe a bathroom, right? Like, I don't know.
So something simple,
Something
like,
simple, just small enough that's livable. And I don't have a ton of, like, I have a decent amount of stuff, but just enough room for me to store my stuff and to like live and be able to live small.
yeah, yeah. And so kind of like the accommodation would be self-sufficient. And would you rather
Yeah.
have that, if you had that, would you rather be like right now, I know in your situation you're kind of on your own, like not only on your own where you're by yourself, but I just mean you're not in a community? Would you rather be like in a community, or do you like living by yourself?
I like
Like
being in the
on your
country.
own?
I do like it out here. It's just I do struggle also with getting around transportation-wise because I don't drive. So I do like being in the country, but it also is beneficial too to also be close to some stores and things that amenities that I can get to.
Right. So, and what I'm really thinking of is, like, for example, if you had a tiny home, would you prefer for that tiny home to be by itself, or would it be okay if, for example, there was one tiny home and maybe there was 6 or 7 of them in like a circle or something, or together in one spot, and you had your own
I'd be
space,
open to
but
either option.
Okay. And then kind of the people could work together for transportation or for going to appointments, and because there's always that, right? Like you got to go to an appointment. How do you get there? And maybe because I'm thinking that if you had like 7 or 10 people together, and then maybe one of them can drive, or you have you know what I mean, like one of the people drives, and then that person can help with getting everybody around, or some. I'm just trying to. I'm always looking because one of my last questions, whenever we get to it, you can think about it, is really I'm trying to focus also, especially with this radio program and with other things, on solutions, right? Like for me personally, I'm a very solution oriented. Like, if you listen to the radio or the TV, the governments are always talking about doing this and doing that, but those things, never seem to really happen. If you know what I mean. And so there's lots of talk, and I like to really focus on like what could be done. Like, so for example, that's why I'm asking about these tiny homes. Like, would you see it beneficial if there could be like 10 of them together, and you find 10 people, and then they could all live together in a little tiny home community? They've done that in some places, like they have. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and I've seen that done with vets. Like in the U.S., they did a vet community. You know what I mean, like a war vet community.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. And I've always thought that sort of arrangement might be nice, because I'm just trying to think of what is best for the individual, but also what serves the people as a group. Because it feels sometimes like if you're just isolated by yourself, that you become isolated. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah. And so for you, the best situation is kind of like a tiny home, and so security, basically, right? Housing security.
Yeah, something I can call my little safe haven, or just safe spot that's mine.
Yeah. And where you can have your cats, and nobody's going to give you a hard time about it. Yeah,
because that's, like I said, it's a big struggle. There's like me looking for rooms or other accommodations right now. I have messaged a lot of rooms, and people don't want pets in them.
Yeah, I know. Pets are always, people are, they, and there is some understanding to it, but at the same time, pets are good. They're good for your mental health.
Yeah, and it's like family.
Yeah. It's like family is right. And how about you and your family? Do you get along all right with them? If you want to talk about it. If you don't worry about it.
Oh, yes, I get along with my family good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anything else like that you'd like to talk about when it comes to like any issues that you see? You're having a lived experience in struggling with your housing. And
there's a lot of scams out there as well when it comes to trying to find housing. My mom has come in contact with issue when she's also looking for housing and currently in a hotel. She is has put down payment for a house and it was all a scam and didn't get the keys. The house was never being sold. So there's lots of big scams out there. I recently just came across one where the whole community was being evicted out of that building for renos so that they could charge more money, and I was going to pay the woman first and last to live there and then just be evicted, I guess, when she was evicted. So I didn't even know that, and luckily the church was able to point that out to my eyes. So just a lot of scams. Wow. When it comes to even finding a place. You may get your hopes up, and this person says, "Yeah, it's yours," and then it's all a scam in the end.
Yeah, that is so terrible, eh? Like
yes,
that, in our society, people can't. Anyway, I just don't understand it. How anybody can take advantage of someone so so callously.
Yes.
When they know that you're already struggling. And
they can see you're looking for a place, you're struggling, you're vulnerable, and they just take advantage of it.
Yeah, that is the lowest of the low. That's for sure. And I'm sorry to hear about that happening to your mother too. I've read in the paper about that scam about down payments and the house.
Yeah, she put a down payment to hold it, and they didn't send the keys. She even signed like a lease, and it was all a fake lease. She showed up at the house and knocked on the door, and the guy says, "I just bought the place. I'm not renting it." And it was all just a scam.
Yeah, wow, that's terrible. I'm sorry that happened to her.
Yeah.
Well, if there aren't enough problems already, but you add something like that in. Well, I hope it all works out for her.
I do too.
So just to wrap up, unless there's something else that you want to add, or maybe another thing I should ask you is, do you have any recommendations for people who might be struggling, or maybe they're not quite in your position, but they might be heading that way? Is there any advice you have for people, or any, Kiana, words of wisdom for people who are struggling?
I don't know. Just stay strong, and in the end, I'm hoping everyone will all figure it out. I have hope, and it's not going to get any easier as the years get on. We're going to have more and more of this housing crisis unless we put our foot down and actually deal with it in a good manner.
Yeah, who do you think should be dealing with it? Do you think the government should be saying, "Hey"?
The government should be helping, and bylaws should be allowing certain things like trailers and or tiny homes, and we should be making more of these things possible for people who are on the street, or the government should be maybe even the people who are on the street struggling, maybe even providing those people with shelter instead of letting them just stay on the streets.
Yeah, and understanding that, people who are on the street are not, are not the bad guys. Often certainly
they've just had a bad circumstance, or fallen down or doesn't have enough income. So a lot of these people struggle, and then they also turn to addictions because they have nothing else, no home, nothing to call home, no friends, no supports.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just right. Yeah, it's people are funny. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's I personally just don't quite understand it, and even from our government, our government can put out millions and millions of dollars for outside our country to things that yes are important, but then inside the country they let people live on the street and have a hard time trying to put money into helping them get off the street. So I really don't understand that. But
Yeah, me either.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay. So thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And
Not a problem. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, no problem. And I wish you good luck. And I hope everything works out well. I feel pretty good that things are going to get good for you.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the well. Thank you very much. And have a great day, Kiana.
Have a great day.
Okay. You too. And
bye.
Don't hang up, though.
Oh, okay.
Don't hang up. That's just the end of that part. And I just wanted to say thank you personally, because I'll cut off the recording there. And and you were okay with everything?
Yeah, I'm fine with everything. Yeah, okay. I think I did okay.
Yeah, no, you did wonderfully. It was great.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second. Somebody is just texting me. Let me know.
No worries.
There we go. Okay. So, yeah, that was really good. You did fabulous. Thank you very much. And I think
Thank you.
As an aside, MJ texted you that we did talk to Jim this morning.
Yes.
Did she text you about that? Yeah. Okay.
She did text me. I didn't really open it yet because I was on with you. But yeah. So how did that go over? I heard Jim said something about another trailer.
Right. Yeah. Which I think might be a really interesting opportunity for you, because he's had somebody else who, and especially in the short term, right? Like, I think what he's thinking is this would be good to set up quickly and easily. Sorry.
He was thinking for the winter. Sorry. Yeah. I think he said he was thinking to get me to settle in this for the winter because it's more accommodating, and then to potentially build up on my trailer in the spring.
Right. Yeah, which I think makes a lot of sense, because it sounds like from what he said that this trailer's in better shape, for right now, and will get you through the winter much more easily. I did talk to him about the heat taping and, like making it so that the waste can be emptied out or something like that. So we'll carry on that conversation as well. So, yeah, and I think he's going to check in with you later to see and get you to. He
called me shortly after he talked to you guys.
Oh, okay. Great. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Somebody's calling me, so I gotta run.
It's okay. No problem.
Okay. I will talk to you later on. Thanks, Kiana.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not me anyway. It's somebody else. So just a second. That's all right. It's just confusing. My phone sometimes rings weirdly.
Oh, no problem.
It's just the way my home phone is connected to it. So anyway, just because I hate cutting it off like that. Okay. So I hope it all works out, and that you get a chance to take a look at this other trailer. I think I asked him whether or not when you go, if it's okay with you, if either me or MJ go as well, just to take a look at the trailer, see what size it is, and where to fit it, that sort of thing. So if that's okay with you, and away we go from there.
Fine.
Yeah. And away we go from there. And okay, great. Have a good day.
You as well.
Okay. Take care. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Take care.
No problem. Bye for now. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Kiana. That was really great talking to you in that interview, and really great to hear how things are going for you. And I know this winter, even now, the weather is turning colder. The living in a trailer is really quite a reasonable alternative. It's challenging because right now, in many municipalities, they don't allow people, as I said earlier, they don't allow people to live in trailers year-round. And I think really the municipalities need to up the ante and start doing things that will improve the situation for people who are underhoused and homeless. I realize, and everybody, I've talked many times on this show about ADUs, additional dwelling units, and certainly that's a better alternative than a trailer because, quite frankly, I'm very familiar with the building code and the different codes and certifications, and trailers are really built, designed, and constructed to be a 3-season type of product, right? So they're made to be able to use in, spring, summer, fall. And so the insulation and the heating and overall the standards that are required for a trailer really don't work for year-round habitation. However, all of that said, bottom line is that if you have a good trailer and you can have it heated properly with like a propane heating system that works right, and that you have both a fire detector as well as a CO2, I think it's CO2 detector, then it can certainly work to solve the problem. There are people who will accommodate and allow people to be, that can make a dramatic difference to a person, to an individual. And as my show last week was talking about the connection between housing and addiction and drug abuse, and therefore the opioid death crisis in Canada, all of this can be worked on and something can be done about it. Lots more than what is currently being done. And really a lot of stuff that's being talked about but then not acted on. I'm hoping that even over this winter there'll be some action happening. I'm certainly going to be pushing for action. And if anybody else out there would like to assist in this whole thing, please reach out to me, Stephen at Haylestrom.com. That's my email, and, let's talk housing. Thank you very much. Really appreciate everybody listening, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Take care. This is Stephen Haylestrom on 92.7 Peterborough FM, community radio, and as well our podcast, Let's Talk Housing with Stephen Haylestrom. And I hope everybody has a great week. Take care. We'll be back at it next week with some additional interviews and talking. Thank you. Bye for now.